Yo, 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 everybody, this is Narcoleptic Cheetah, and we're in another episode of Factorio, and today we're going to try to get purple science done. I'm going to do the same strategy as I did the last episode, which was to kind of introduce a bunch of stuff, and then do a time-lapse, and then introduce some more stuff, and then summarize, and do another time-lapse, because I really want to get purple science done today, rather than what we did with the blue science, which was 2 episodes worth. Now, granted, we also had to fix red circuits with blue science and fix plastic with blue science, so that slowed us down. So the first thing we need to do is, I guess, come down here to try and figure out what we need for purple science. Okay, well, I know the things we need. We need rails. We need a redonkulous number of rails. So we need 150 rails per second. That is, how many lines? I'm just like, that is three and a half lines, something like that. It's a little less than 3.5, but we're gonna say 4 lines basically of rails. Holy crap! Okay, so we need four lines of rails. We're going to need some electric furnaces. It's less than half a line. And productivity module level 1s, that's less than half a line. Both of those are 5 per second. But the rails are going to be tough, because we got to have stone for rails, or just like the stone ore, not the stone brick. So we need stone for that. And we need iron sticks for that. Not that the electric furnace and the productivity module 1 are easy, by the way. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, let's look at each of these recipes real quick. And I kind of want to show you what's going on. So for every 2 rails, we need 1 iron stick, right? So we need 150 rails a second. That means we need 75 iron sticks a second. Now, an iron stick, we get 2 iron sticks per 1 iron plate. And the timing on this doesn't totally matter, because I've already figured it out on the sheet. Basically, if I need 150 rails per second, that means I need 75 iron sticks per second. That is 3 machines, by the way. 3 machines for the iron sticks, for 75 of them. The trouble with this is going to be like with the grenades. I'm just looking at the grenades right now. And some of our other things, it's going to be feeding them enough materials so they can produce at the maximum amount. So that's going to be one of our issues with the iron sticks. I think that's going to be some of our issue with the rails as well, because technically we only need 6 machines for 150 rails. But we're going to have to feed it so much. Like, each machine is going to have its own set of inputs, probably. I don't know for sure, but that's what it feels like. So the rails really is going to come down to how much we can throw at it. So we're also going to need steel plates. And that means we're going to need... we're going to need 75 steel plates per second and 75 stone per second. I was going to say braid them, but you can't really, because you have 3 different lines of stuff. So I think we're going to have to split this into 2 or 3, or like I said, we might have to split it into each rail machine has its own set of belts type of deal. Because, let's see, if we split 150 by 6, well, if we split it in half, that's 75. Split it in thirds, it's 25 rails. Cut that in half, that's 12 and a half. So we can't even double it. So yeah, each one is going to have its own thing. So that's the trouble with the purple science. That's just the rails, by the way. The electric furnaces, I believe, are kind of similar. it's because we need 5 of these per second. Well, that means we need 50 steel plates per second. That's more than a line. We need 2 lines of steel at this point. We need 1 line of advanced circuits. Actually, it's like little more than half a line, but you get the idea. And then a line of stone bricks per second. Actually, a little bit more, because a line is 45 per second. We need 50 per second. Just multiply these numbers that you see by 5. So that's an issue. And then again, we're gonna have to split this probably into 2 or 3. This is going to require 4 machines. Each one's probably, it's going to be like the rails. Each one's going to have its own set of lines, I think. So this design process is going to be a little bit interesting. Luckily, you get to see it at 20 times the speed. Okay, so just keep in mind, like, if it's a minute long, that means it took me 20 minutes to do it. If it's 2 minutes long, it took me 40. If it's 3 minutes long, it took me a whole hour to do. So I just want to let you know. Okay, so, and then we have productivity module 1, which is green circuits and red circuits. We need 5 a second of each of those. Although that's 12 machines, that's actually easier because we can put all 12 machines together and have a loop of green and a loop of red, and bam, we're done. That's it. Because all we need is, what, 25 of each per second, so we can actually braid the belts even. Yeah, that one's simple by comparison. So yeah, we're going to, like I said, I'm going to get done on this, and then we're going to have to also do the stuff for purple. I don't know how that's going to work out either. I'm pretty sure since we need like 150 rails per second, that's like, what I say, like 4 lines or 3.5 or something like that. So we're going to have to split those up as well, and I think those are like 17 or something like that. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get into a time lapse, and then probably after I get done with, kind of like I did with the gray science over here, once I get done with the entire set, I'll come back and talk with you guys about the design and all the troubles that we had with it. All right, see you guys in a bit. that was a nice 3-minute time lapse, if we get my meaning. Anyway, is that water right there? Okay, anyway, so, wow, that was things not working all over the place. So, like, one thing would break, and then the next thing would break, and then the next thing, and the next thing. Basically, what it stemmed from was me trying to cram things into too small of a space and being unwilling to rework a design. So what I wound up doing is reworking the iron rod design. Here, let me go over there so I can show you. So I had the 3 together, and then that just wasn't working. I had nowhere to unload. So when I spread them apart like this, it gives me the sides to unload on, and then I can take from the belt as it spins around. And I only needed 37.5 iron plates per second, which means this full belt is actually more than I need. And if something's not taking off the backside, typically it is taking off the front side, which was kind of an accident, but it was still worked really well in my favor. So basically, this is what this looks like. Ultimately, I don't know if it's producing exactly what I wanted it to produce, but it's pretty close. Also ran into these not pulling out rails fast enough. Oh, now it's backed up, but you can't tell. And what I figured out is that these were producing 25. Look at all that. These were producing 25 rails per second, and the stack inserters can only pull out 12 per second. And I had 2 of them that's still 24, and that one was actually adding up over the 6 machines. So that was like 6 per second that I was missing, and that's actually a pretty significant amount when you get down to it. So I wound up getting rid of a couple of intakes because I realized again that I didn't need that many. I need like 12.5 iron rods coming in. So like one stack inserter is 12, the other is another 12, way overkill for the half that I needed. So basically I didn't need one of the inserters from this side, and the only reason I have an extra one, like, so that's 36 if you're counting inserters, is just that's, you know, keep speed up. If one gets there before the other, that's fine. I don't want to ever rely on the speed of the inserters being the thing that's holding me up. And when this thing is running, it's running at full speed, so I don't think I'm losing any there. So this one is really just grabbing one at a time, but it's fine. And to watch these things go, it's like, I mean, it's rapid fire, but it's always going, so it's really nice. So that's rails. Now we have to do electric furnaces and productivity modules. So we will get to that in just well, I will get to it right now, to be fair. But right this second, I'm going to bed. So when you next hear me, it'll be tomorrow, but for you it'll still be today in like 2 seconds. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in just a bit. Alright guys, so we have now electric furnaces set up. That actually was not as difficult as plastic was. Although I admit I had learned a lot of lessons from, I say plastic, not plastic, from the rails. I learned a lot from the rails. It was not as difficult as the rails. Although there weren't as many machines, and these aren't going to run out quite as quick, so that's fine. And they don't produce as quickly, so this just was a lot easier all around. I've gotten really good, I guess, at this little weird third belt type thing. So yeah, anyway, that's more than enough for everything. Now, the biggest issue that I see that we're gonna run into, and I realized this with rails, is down here. I don't know what I was thinking, but look at this steel production. It's horrible. So I realized a few things. For one, I plugged this little steel thing into my formula Excel sheet, and this right here is enough for one full line of steel, and really not even that, because it's not like you see I replaced the modules over here, and that's fine. You'll occasionally see this happen, but again, that's really not supposed to. With this formula and such, we can have like 18 of these guys will use all the iron that comes down there. We'll use a full belt of iron. 18 of these will. So, but then you have to have 90 machines to create one full belt. And we have 120 here, but generally speaking, well, we have the production modules in, and as I've figured out using, again, this sheet, production doesn't do me any good. I mean, it saves on materials, sure, but I mean, I've got oodles of materials. I'm not super concerned about the materials. I'm more concerned about the speed. So like with the map I have, I like cranked up. If you go back to the first episode, I think I have it on there where I cranked up the resources, like how many there are, the patch size and everything. I cranked all that way up. So I have these patches that are, like, if we zoom out here, that are like 292 million. Like, I probably will never run through that. So when I plop down some stuff, sure, it'll go down a little bit, but it's not going to go down any huge amount. Like, this is 252. This one over here is 240. I think our starting one is our smallest one, which is 13 million. Still, we haven't exhausted it yet. Okay, so I'm not concerned. Actually, that might be our original, but I'm not really concerned with running out of material. And as you go out, these things get more and more. Like, we're running. That one is close to 1 billion. Just kind of like process that for a minute. 1 billion ore. So I'm not, again, not super concerned about running out, so I don't really need the production modules. I can understand if you're on a map with lighter resources like my first series. Ooh-wee. Yes, production modules would have been so helpful. But I actually kind of like this. You set it up and you're done. So anyway, all that to say, my smelting is actually kind of borked. Like, I should not have set it up this way. So, yeah. Anyway, this is not enough for 5 lines of steel. I really wish it were, but it's not. So, we have basically one station for steel that's going to continuously run, and the others are just kind of running out slowly. This one gets some, but I mean, if we look at the number of trains that are on these, basically these two, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 12 trains coming to this. And when we get into serious science production, we're going to need rails, which need steel. We're going to need the steel furnaces, which need steel. We're going to need a lot of steel. So one of the next things we need to do in the next episode is create steel. But for now, I'm going to go into another time lapse to do the production modules, and then we'll have purple science done, and that'll be the end of the episode. So I'll see you guys in just a bit. Kind of as we predicted, this was the easiest one to do. We've done this a million times. This was simple. I could put it on this end, by the way, because I'm capping this one off anyway. So that's a thing. Also, with these cars, we can cap them. Like, we can make this X, and this actually counts as a full cargo when it's like that. So that's pretty cool. So full and empty cargo still work with that scenario. And they'll just keep on keeping on for a while. Basically, the reason I'm doing this without having purple sciences available is simply because we just, I mean, we can, more or less. It's the same reason I set up the train stations first here and everywhere else is because I want them to back up. If they have a chance to back up, then what happens is the train leaves and this doesn't run out by the time the train comes back. And then the train just fills up what it lost. And eventually, like, this will back up and that will back up to the point that we won't need... The train will just stop going, basically. So, it'll be a while, but it'll eventually stop going. So that means... when we need it, when we need the science and such for it, we'll have it. Similar to the way that we have trains running already for the reds, blues, and blacks, and greens. Jeez, I forgot I had all those. They're all backed up already. Like, they're totally filled. They're not even really using anything because I'm not really researching anything, at least nothing new. And it's cycling around and around, right? So we don't need any extra stuff right now. The whites, oh my gosh, the whites concern me because, well, in total, we have about 36,000. Actually, I just found it. We have 36,000 of these, and that's not a lot. By comparison, we have 115,000 of the reds, greens, blues, and blacks. Now, granted, we're not producing these right now. This is from when we launched our 96 rockets ages ago, right? So this is we still have some, but not enough. And while that sounds like a lot, keep in mind that like each research that we do right now is taking like 8 to 16,000, and each time we do it, it adds like 4,000 to the next research. So like if we do artillery range, which is where we're doing now, that's 8,000. But the next one, number 4, is 16,000. Wait, what? This was 8, that's 16. Oh my gosh. So like if I started that, the next one would be 32. These are doubling. So like I would run through that in no time flat. 36,000, no time flat. We will run through some shooting speeds probably because that was amazing. I watched them take out some extra stuff I placed. So basically, I placed a couple of turrets somewhere. Oh, yeah, here just to lob stuff right there. And there were all kinds of things. And there was just like almost, it's not machine gun fire yet, but it was like boom, 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 boom. Whereas before we did the speed, it was like boop, boop, that kind of thing. Like, so we do enough of those speeds, these things are going to shoot like machine gun fires. Talk about air raids. Okay, anyway, let's set up purple and then we'll be done with the episode. guys, so we are done. That is purple science all ready for us. Basically, as you saw, I decided to infuse the rail line at multiple locations, basically after about every 4 machines. So we have 4 machines that pick up from the rail line, and then it dumps it into this, and then there was a couple left for the 5th line, but I was wanting to go ahead and like insert this extra line right here, so there's plenty of rails. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's still rails that go around right here, especially with the 2 lines. But then I infuse a 3rd line right here, so 1 line, 2 lines. This is the 3rd line, 3 lines, and then we have, actually that's after the 5th one. That was supposed to be after the 4th, but whatever. So, and then after the 5th one, see, does this one ever stop moving? No. It always has more than 30 by the time it gets, yeah. So that's fine. So this one is the 5th one, and then we have the last 4 supplied basically by this line up here. And then it just circles around. So, yeah, I mean, we're doing fine. These things are not totally full, but almost full. Like I said, what I'm worried about is the steel. Oh, and I don't have radars over there because I took them out. What I'm worried about is the steel over here. So there are several steel lines, although this seems to be filling up. What happens is that this one fills up, and then the next one, and the next one, next one, next one. So like, they seem to be filling up just fine. All right, I'm still a little bit worried about them, but I think we're okay for now, anyway. So we'll be okay for a while, I think. But I do want to go ahead and get that steel smelting column. So in that case, I think next episode we're actually going to tackle gold science, and then we'll tackle like the smelting, the huge smelting stations that we need. We actually need, ooh, that's scary. We need copper. We need another huge copper smelting station, and we need the steel, and we probably actually need another iron one, to be honest. So we'll redesign that and try to get it a little bit smaller, actually. Maybe if we can do that, we can free up some room elsewhere in the base. But anyway, figure that out later. If you guys liked the episode, please leave a like on it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Oh yeah, don't forget to comment to tell me what you think about this purple science stuff. Thanks. Bye.